Georgia ever since, moved to California for a little bit, but all throughout I have felt like an outsider my whole life, and it's not so much, oh, you're so this, you talk too loudly. I said, I don't talk louder than a man,
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's where like just self-image, because a lot of women tell me that they're scared of being arrogant, and they're scared of having an ego. But I'm telling you that no, even if we try really hard, our ego will never be greater than a man's, will never be greater than, right? So it's fine. Like a little ego is actually good. I think the biggest mistake we can do is always depend on other people for validation, especially our friends and family, so that's when now I'm at a point that before I said, dad has to help me. Now I say, literally, I talk like this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it. I don't ask for permission anymore, because I think before I did, oh, do you like this? Mama, do you like this? But they said, no, I don't. They literally, even now they say, I don't understand any of this. Like, I don't understand the media. I don't understand how it makes money. And I said, you know what? You don't have to know. Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Are you in America now?
Yes, I live in Austin, Texas.
Okay, perfect. So what time is it?
It's 5 p.m.
Okay, so here it's 6 p.m.
Yes, I'm super excited.
Oh my God. No, I'm excited. Of course.
Because I'm like grateful to you.
No, thank you. And I think you're a go-getter. I think you're amazing. I think you're doing so much for the tech community, and then you just being so educated, I feel a duty to support you as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much, because I resonated with the five secrets that you explain for go-getters.
Yes.
So I resonate for each and every sentence with that.
Yeah, and you know what, Revathi, it was written with, us in mind, because I think you agree that, girls like us and women like us, are not really represented in the media at all, and much less as intelligent, so the gap that I was seeing, because I think you're about how old?
27.
Okay, we're the same age. We're literally the same age. So you understand this, our age, it's very difficult to find a woman in the media who's known for her brain, because when I was growing up when we were growing up, it was the actress, singer, dancer, or politician, and she's always angry and she's always shouting. So my thing was, why is it so hard to have intelligence but be as popular as a pop star? Like, why is that so difficult? So that was my initial attempt to bridge that gap, and that article is actually what started everything. So.
Yes, I saw your articles. I read all the articles you wrote, and I follow you on Twitter. Like, you are very active on Twitter.
Yeah.
And also I read your mission. Your mission is to bridge the gap between intellectuals and the pop culture in the media.
Right. Because I'm just trying to prove that I don't have to wear no clothes to make it, as a pop famous, right? Because I'm noticing a difference between like a political famous and a cultural famous, because the politics, it's all like, you're living in America, it's all the time, fighting, and I'm not interested in that, which is why everybody says, you should run for office, I'm like, that's not really my interest. I want to work on certain issues that I think are important to me, but otherwise I'm trying to be a cultural, positive influence, and it was just hard for me to see anybody doing that, in the way that I wanted. And so that's why, if that is confusing to you, it basically means, everything that you're studying, Java, CS, why can't we talk about that on, Entertainment Weekly? Like, why is it so taboo? Like, if we have a cartoon series, where the main character is a little girl who wants to be a data scientist, I think that can change a lot of things.
Awesome.
Little bit. Revathi. And she's
Yes.
in America. Like, I want to see that, and it's normal, because there's always the Indian characters are very weird, and we're not all weird, and it's just, why is it so hard to find just a normal person who's Indian, and it's just very hard, who's beautiful. They are all, this, I mean, it's all strangers looking, and I'm just like, we are better than this as a
Yes.
country.
Because it all starts with the self-love.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and you are a great manifestation of that. You have moved countries, you're a global citizen. I want to see someone like you, but all the time I get these caricatures that are, even now, Revathi, I see, there's this new Indian thing there, and I'm like, who's gonna watch that? Some Indian shot in a village. I said, but we are not living in a village. I mean, none of us can relate to that life. So I just don't know why it's so hard for these producers, very, very big time producers, to find an Indian, particularly, concept that's modern, or relatable, or, everything is like a old, I'm like, we are not, I mean, that's not the content we consume, so it's just, there's a lot of things that need to be fixed.
Like, I want to know your a journey from the beginning. Like, are you this confident person since you are child?
No, not at all. And I talk about this in my memoir at 26, Unapologetically Shinjini, which is now out as an ebook, which you have to get. Actually, I would love for you to get it.
Sure.
I'll send you the link after this ebook. And then we are launching in Kindle, paperback, Audible, all that stuff. But, the main point was to share my story, because when I first came onto the scene, everybody thought exactly what you think, that this is how she's always been. Very confident, very this way. And I said, no, actually, I was not always a go-getter. And the story is that, I was born in India, much like you, I think, right? Okay. Where were you born?
Andhra Pradesh.
Okay, Andhra Pradesh. I was in Calcutta, so Kolkata.
Okay.
And then I'm Bengali, and we moved to Malaysia when I was 5. So whole family moved to Malaysia, dad's job. So I lived in Malaysia for 4 years. Went to Revathi, the best international school. As you can imagine, probably you have friends in all, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand. If you're an expatriate, I mean, you're living like a king, because the school, the company pays for, so, I mean, for me, it was just amazing, to be in that environment and to just have that experience, because I was in heaven. We had Olympic-sized swimming pools, the best teachers. I mean, in retrospect, I look back and I remember coming to America. I said, this is my school? Like, literally like this, because I'm used to, like a palace. And not only that, of course, the instruction was very good, teachers were very good. I had just so much fun in Malaysia. It was such a great time for me. At age 5 to 9, so at 9 years old, again, job transfer. And so been in the States since 9.5. So very much an immigrant story. And if you're familiar with the US situation, or your friends are here, mostly people here, they are born here, right? Like our friends, they are usually born here. If they did come here, at least my experience, they came here at 2 or they came here at 3. But I was almost 10. I mean, that's a big difference, in terms of your, maturity and fitting in. And so I think I faced more challenges than they did coming at 2, because then you don't really remember anything and everybody sort of starts the same. But for me, I mean, from just, not the language, because obviously that was a British school, so I knew English very well, probably better than here. But here the challenge was the accent, and probably for you also, the challenge was the intonation and the way they say things, and just cultural, there were a lot of issues.
Yes, because I came at the age of like 23, because after my engineering, for my master's,
And you know this, right? And the older you are, actually, the more difficult it is.
Yes.
So for me, I mean, it was, and these kids, they didn't know anything. I said, I'm from Malaysia. Where? Oh, so you're Malaysian. I said, no, I'm not Malaysian. I mean, it was just a mess, and the first day, I was 3rd grade, so class 3, I had to take a standardized exam. The math was a mess because I learned the British system. So like you, right? Everything is meters. Here I mean, it just, everything is different, so it was a real struggle. and I don't think we anticipated how hard it would be, because school, it's a whole different story, than masters. You're so little, so it was just really hard. It was just really hard. But again, I stuck through, and teachers also made some comments of like, oh, why don't you know this? You don't know poetry. I said, no, but we didn't learn poetry. Oh, but you should know. I said, no, but we don't know. So I think there was just a lot of confusion. And they said, I remember they said, why don't you know American currency? I said that American currency is only in America. So if you don't study in America, you don't know America. Things like that you and I think is silly. They asked legitimate questions. They were legitimately confused. So, I mean, that was my life, and then moved to Georgia. So it was America at 9, moved from New Jersey to Georgia at 11. 11, yes. And have been in Georgia ever since, moved to California for a little bit, but all throughout I have felt like an outsider my whole life, and it's not so much even broad, because, by the time that I came out, it was not that there were no Indians, there were Indians. So that was not the issue, but the issue was just cultural belonging. I didn't understand any of these things. They said NFL, I said, what is that? Well, I mean, it's probably a lot of the things you experienced.
Yes, because you spoke all, you mentioned all these main points in the Forbes, article.
Yes. And the thing is, they are very unforgiving, Revathi. As a child, it's even more unforgiving, So 23, you'll say, I'm Indian, I'm this. There's a few ways to work around it, but as an 11, 12-year-old, I mean, whatever it is, I'm Indian. Now this is my home, right? I mean, and for years, it will be my home. So I was cognizant that I can't just say that I'm not American. I don't want to be American, because I knew that I have to live here. So I think it was really hard. And, I think which is why I built this protective shell around me, that I'm enough, and I talk about this repeatedly in the book, that I am all I had. So I didn't have that many friends, and if they were just strange, and so I couldn't get along with them. And I think finally, in like 5th grade, I started making like real friends, 4th grade, 5th year, and then we moved to Georgia. So again, I had finally a group of 3 girls, and actually one of them just invited me to her wedding next week, and unfortunately I can't go, but he's someone I've been in touch with for many years. And then we moved, and I was so upset, and I said, finally I have some friends here, and now we're moving again. So again, outsider. Again, I don't know anyone. And if you know about Georgia, I mean, it's a very conservative state. So going to school there and all, it was, I mean, there were some definite issues of, wait, where are you from? Oh, we thought you were a boy. Literally walked in the classroom, age 11, they said, we thought you were a boy. And I said, like, just craziness, So again, build that protective layering. And then 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, there's a charter school here called Fulton Science Academy. That was where, like, my whole life changed. Like, the awards, was discovered as a speaker. So that's when everything started changing. But before that, I don't think it was a pretty picture here at all. So, none of the confidence, none of that really existed. But all I had was myself, and I kept, going with that.
I think, now. Hello.
Sorry, did it freeze?
Hello. Hello, can you hear me, Shinjini? Hello. Yes, I think you're back now. Hello.
Yeah. Can you, I think it froze.
Yes, I think, yeah.
Okay. Better?
Yes, better.
Okay. Good.
And many people, not many people, some people say that US is like a depression country. What is your take on it?
Yeah, I think worldwide we are experiencing problems, for sure. It's not just the US. And I think, a lot of things have to do with it. I'm not going to go ahead and blame just social media, because I think that, these are internal problems that are only coming to light because of social media, probably, right? Because everybody knows now, but it has always existed, right? Depression has always been, a situation, right? Forever, right? So I think we're just hearing more about it now. But I think that, US, I will say one thing, which is the work culture here is pretty brutal, as you know, and probably agree with. It's too much working, and I think that we need to prioritize, not even social life, but just boundaries. That we have to leave at this time, this is family time, this is personal time, this is ride your bike time, because it's too much pressure.
Yeah, but I think there is so much pressure even in India, like 2 times pressure in India.
Yeah, no, I know. And by the way, you are seeing the results of that as well, that they are burnt out, that they are depressed. And the other thing is, this the country, my parents say this all the time, just when you definitely know this, just walking around and getting to work is a struggle. There's the cow on the road, the pollution. I mean, it's really a mess, so just making it to work is a struggle, so that on top of the stress, it's too much stress, so
even in India, like they work even more, like more than 8 hours. Some people work for 10 hours or 16 hours, like that. So
right. I also think it's personal, right, Revathi? Like every individual has their own standards of working and all that. So somebody, even if everybody around them works 8 hours, they will work 18 hours because that's they are. But I think we need a global conversation around boundaries, because it's not worth it, that you are very successful, you are very rich, and you're sick. That's not, nobody wants that,
yes.
So that's what I'm learning is it's not worth it to sacrifice your health, your mental health, your physical health, emotional health, social health. It's not worth it, because what are we gonna gain?
Yes. And even if you earn money, you'll spend that money on your health.
That's right, and on the medical bills.
Yes.
And it's just not worth it. So I think, anybody who's so just working like crazy, ask yourself why, because probably it is an insecurity. The only situation that I think is, especially in entrepreneurship, right now I don't have the luxury of just saying that, I don't want to do 18 hours a day, because that's what it takes to build a successful business. But at the same time, I also know that if I'm working like even 18 hours, that means I'm not doing something right, because if the problem is money, I mean, you are my background, I have to optimize and get my first, 30,000, whatever, and then I have that. And so now I'm not desperate for money. So I would say in general, if you are working like that crazy number of hours, there is something you're doing wrong, and you have to fix that, because that's not healthy.
But some people who want to achieve their dreams, like they work part-time and they also do side hustle.
Right.
So what is your take on that? So they will work for almost like 16 to 18 hours, right?
Right. And that was my life, as you read. And it sucked. I mean, it was terrible. I don't think that it is an advisable situation. Having said that, again, I'm a big believer now of optimization, so how do you optimize this? Because I don't think the answer is ours. So if my ask to anybody listening and watching would be, do you just spend today with this plan that's going to be much more effective for you in the long term? Because I don't think just hours and hours and hours is the answer. I think quality is the answer. So if that means you spend 8 hours on a weekend and get a business plan, that's going to take you a lot quicker than random calling people asking for help. You know what I mean?
Yes. I also believe that asking for help is the real strength.
Yes, it is, for sure.
Like you mentioned that you also worked for long hours. Like what you did to optimize your work? Like any tips?
Yeah, and Yeah, no, sure, sure, sure. And I think, so my struggle, which is not everybody's struggle, was I wasn't
Yes.
very happy with my day job also.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people, they're working in a job that they really like, but they're trying to do something else too.
Something
So
else.
that is actually a different situation from what I was in, because I didn't really like what I did during the day. And so that was creating a lot of stress for me as well, because there were a lot of incorrect assignments. There were a lot of, things that I did wrong. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it was just incorrect. I mean, just, assignments that I did wrong, things that I did wrong. So I think that was unfortunate. So in the nighttime, actually, instead of focusing on my business, I was worried about what I did wrong during the day. So
Okay.
I think that's why for me, it was like real stress. It was like too much stress. But I think for normal people who like what they do, but they just are trying to move, I would say, spend some time researching is a really good idea. Because I just focus on the mental game, not the hard labor. That, okay, today 18 hours or 20 hours. Like, focus on, did I do my research on this industry? Okay, great. So, like, quality, you know what I mean? Did
Mm-hmm.
I reach out to these two people who I think would make great co-founders?
Mm-hmm.
Did I create the website? Did I pay for the website to be created because I have a job now? So I think, like, quality initiatives. And I didn't really have that much time to focus on my side hustle even at Deloitte, because I was traveling the whole time. So I mean, I'm coming back to the hotel room literally 11 p.m. I'm exhausted. There wasn't a lot of work that went in, to be honest. During, and also, like, I had interviews, I had this, so I did a little bit, but I didn't have too much time to do much. And I think that my day job, because both the day jobs, I don't think were very successful because I didn't really like them. That was a big stress for me. So more than the creating the business plan, I was worried that, oh, like, my boss didn't like that. He wasn't happy. So that was actually. So yeah.
And also, like, how do you keep,
Yeah.
because you are like into digital platforms, all the digital platforms, like, how do you keep yourself from distractions in the digital world?
Yeah, like, free from distractions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard. I think it's really difficult, especially on social media, where, this. I mean, it's a rabbit hole. But I think that just your goal. I mean, you have to be a go-getter. You keep focusing on your goal. And saying that, hey, this is where I want to. I have my, like, to-do list right here, my whiteboard. This is. I mean, just looking at this every day. Every second of every day, I'm saying that's what I have to do. And if I don't, I'm not going to have enough money. I can't live. I mean, so I think those are the real problems. So I think just being very hard about it is what's working for me right now, because you're right. I mean, it's so easy to just do this, look at this Bollywood thing. I mean, it's easy, right? It's a look at this music video, right? Because that's what everybody wants to do. But I think just focus your goals.
Yes, prioritizing.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Because like these days we are spending so much time checking Instagram. Like, we can spend the
Right.
same amount of time like checking ourselves.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. And actually, I just saw that quote somewhere. So congratulations to you for sharing that, because I actually just read that quote the other day. 100%, 100%. And it's the one thing that is sometimes difficult for me is social media is my job. Actually, like you also in some
Yes.
ways, it's your podcast, it's your side hustle. So I think for us it's a little different, because I can't say, like, oh, don't check Instagram, because that's literally my job. So I think the challenge there is just stay on the focus. So what I did is, I don't know if you saw this, but I disabled my story replies, because what was happening is all these people, and it wasn't even all negative, it was all just random. Oh, no, no, I like this or something, and I'm like, I don't have time for this, because then I'm reading all of them. If some of them are negative, then I'm getting upset, and then I want to, like, fight back, and I'm like, no, I shouldn't. So then I said, what, I'm going to disable this. So just something very small like that, disabling your DM replies, disabling your comment feed. So right now I have it so that only my followers can comment. Versus before it was everyone, they're saying whatever, So I think little things like that have been very helpful if your career is based on social media,
And I also started using timer notification on Instagram. Like I'm spending only 30 minutes a day.
Nice, congratulations. That's spoken like a true go-getter. I'm very proud of you.
Because like when I saw the insights of my Instagram account, I was like amazed. I'm spending hours, like 1 hour to 2 hours each and every day. I was like, no.
Right. No, and I'm glad you did that. And I think that's exactly what I'm trying to tell people, is to be proactive and to make a change, right? So not just say, oh, I'm spending 3 hours. Wow, my life sucks. No, actually, I can do something about it. Right?
Yes.
That's exactly what you're doing. And that's being a go-getter. So I'm proud of you.
And like you on the Forbes article, you spoke about cultural empathy. Yes, can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, and so they asked me, actually, this is very relevant for you, being an Indian immigrant at work, and in the workplace, and just being an immigrant in the workplace, and how does that translate into, belonging and success. And it's funny because I dealt with that a lot at Deloitte. It was always like I was kind of an outsider. And in the opposite sense, because I worked in sort of IT consulting, so actually a lot of my peers and colleagues were also Indian immigrants, right? In a way, we all felt like we didn't belong.
Okay.
I'm preaching to you.
Yeah.
You agree. So what I said in the article was, I said that shouldn't be the cause of us not belonging. That should be reason for us to belong. That we don't have to change who we are to fit in. But yeah, maybe we change a little bit conversation here, like with Americans, right? You have to talk about the Super Bowl. You have to talk about the NFL. You have to talk about Trump, right? With Indians, talk about the Cricket World Cup, right? So be culturally nuanced, right? You don't have to be silly, but at the same time, you don't have to change who you are to fit in. Because that is something, unfortunately, a lot of immigrants do, right? They'll change their accent. They'll be very embarrassed about their accent, But my thing is that be proud. You are what you are. And in your case, Revathi, I know you are the product of, you said Madhya Pradesh?
Andhra Pradesh.
Andhra Pradesh. You are the product of Andhra Pradesh. So your accent reflects that. It is not something to be embarrassed about. It is something to be proud of, So that was my pitch to the editor. Yeah.
Yes.
That let's not be embarrassed, because I'm tired of that narrative. That white man and then the embarrassed little brown girl who doesn't like herself, doesn't like her accent. I said, I think it's time for something different now. So that's fine. And she titled it that. She titled it being an immigrant, Indian immigrant in the workplace, which was very exciting. I didn't expect that, because the whole idea was how to own yourself. So the fact that she titled out an Indian immigrant, I said, okay, but that's not what I meant. Not everyone's Indian, but I was very proud to see that, because that Forbes, I don't see that a lot. Like the titles, it's usually somebody who's not like us. So when I saw the Indian immigrant, first I got excited, and then I said, oh, this is the interview. I'm happy to see that.
Awesome. Like you mentioned about that, like a work culture, you are not fitting in that culture. I also experienced the same. Like I went to one of the event at office, it is like something kind of a game zone or something like that, and they started asking questions about American films and American sports, but I don't know nothing about it. I was like blank.
Right. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I read that,
but don't be embarrassed, Ricky. One thing that you and I have going for us is we're very smart. we're very intelligent, right? So, what I realized, because first time, like I was very sad, I was upset that I don't know what football is, right? Or American football, how American football play. I don't know what the NFL is, but then I had this amazing perspective that I can learn, and that is something that I use with me to this day. That anything, whether it be Java or fashion, because when I first came into the media, as you know, everybody is very fashionable, and I wasn't. I'm an engineer. Both of us were not coming from a fashion background. So and I was so upset, that I didn't use makeup as a child. I didn't wear fashionable clothes, and then I just said, but I can learn. Right? So what does it mean? It means going to the gym. It means figuring out your fitness routine. It means this. It means buying the right clothes. It means having the fit right? These are all science. Like football is a science. Cricket is a science. And so when I flipped it to that, and we're both very smart. We're academically very gifted. So that was when I said, oh my God, yeah, they know all these things, but I can learn, and then I can know more than all of them. Because drive and work ethic, that is greater than everything, greater than looks, greater than style, greater than intelligence. It's how hard you work.
Yes.
And not how long. I'm not going to say how long. I'll say how hard do you work consistently. So even if it's 2 hours a day trying to learn what American football is, in the first week you will learn a lot, right? 12, 14 hours of studying it, you will learn a lot. I think that is my perspective today, and I feel a lot more confident. That should be your perspective too.
Yeah.
Because and you're right. These institutions, forget America, India, cricket. I don't know anything about cricket. So I always felt left out. But now I said, you know what? I can learn. I don't know it, but I can learn. So that's a great mindset for anyone to have.
And to be a go-getter, you need to start loving yourself. You
Yes.
wrote an article the 7 rituals, self-love rituals.
You've done your research, I must say.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
So, can you speak about those rituals?
Yes, I have to look at that article again. But I'll tell you the synopsis. This synopsis,
The first one is, I would say that's the first one, self-image.
Yeah, totally. So, I think for me, and the part of it was inspirational, part of it was looking at other women, especially because when I wrote this, I was actually working with a women's social networking app. And so it's very female focused and female based. So I think, when I thought about self-image, I have to think that I'm pretty great, in order to love myself, and I have to think that I'm worthy, and I have to think that, I deserve success, and all these things. So for me, that was number one, is I can't love myself if I don't think I'm worthy of loving myself. So it's as simple as that, and that's why self-image is number one. And it's not like inflated that it's an ego, because a lot of people say that, and I don't know if you saw, I tweeted the other day, I said the world loves arrogant men but hates arrogant women. So my thing is, I don't understand why, because a little arrogance is not a bad thing, because what ends up happening is, especially in our culture, Revathi, we're always told that chupoja, be quiet, slowly, don't talk too much, be shy, you're a girl, you're a lady, behave like a lady. So I think what ends up happening is you become so squished that even a little arrogance in comparison to a normal man's arrogance looks like nothing. Right, so even if your parents come to you and say, Revathi, you're so arrogant, compared to Donald Trump, you look like nothing. Right? So that's how I feel, which is why anytime parents are like, oh, you're so this, you talk too loudly. I said, I don't talk louder than a man, So I think that's where just self-image, because a lot of women tell me that they're scared of being arrogant, and they have, they're scared of having an ego. But I'm telling you that even if we try really hard, our ego will never be greater than a man's, will never be greater than, right? So it's fine. A little ego is actually good. I
yes.
And
I agree
Because
with
what happens is we are so squished that, for us, a big ego in the world is very small.
you. Yes.
That's how I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're always told, no, this is your wish. You're just, don't do this, don't wear this. If you wear this, this will happen. If you do this, that'll happen. He'll say this. So there's too much going on already. So there's not a whole lot of you know, power going on, right? So for us, even for me, if I say I have a big ego compared to a man, it's going to be invisible, So, I mean, yeah. So have a little ego. Yeah.
That's the summary.
Yeah.
That's a summary of
Because
self-image.
I'm tired of it, and my parents do this too. They're very modern, but they also like, oh, be quiet, talk softly. I said, no, but I'm that model is not working for us anymore. Talk softly, be nice, let him go first. I mean, it's not working. So
Next,
yeah,
like mind. You spoke about mind.
yes.
Hello.
What did you say? Sorry, it's like cutting in and out.
Yes. Like you spoke about mind, the second self ritual.
Yeah, I'm just mindset. I really think that your mind is your supercomputer. It is your power control system. It is your brain. So if you can organize your mind and say that again, I deserve this. I'm worthy. I'm strong. I'm confident. I'm capable. And just say these things to yourself. I think you'll notice a big difference. Write it in the mirror, wake up every morning and say that. I mean, sometimes it's all it takes, because a lot of women especially, they say, I'm lost, I'm confused. I said, just say it. One day what you say will become true.
And like, what is your morning routine? Do you have any specific morning routine?
Yeah, yes and no. Lately, I think there was a time when I was just like head down, wake up, start working, and I was getting tired. So now I'm trying to, being the keyword, wake up, alarm, usually I'm checking my phone immediately, but now I'm like, okay, I shouldn't. So I'm trying to do like some moments of silence, a little meditation, like 10 minutes, just calm, just slow down the pace. I think that's what I'm trying to do, because and you also, I know we are such go-getters, but also just so competitive, so like go, that I think sometimes your brain, heart, body, everything is fast. So that's why in the morning, even not just every day, I'm just trying to say that I'll make it. I know I'll make it. I know you'll make it. I don't have to rush so much, because we're still young. We're still really young. And there's so much pressure, most of which we are putting on ourselves.
Yes, exactly.
Right? And so sometimes that's why I'm like looking out the window, I'm like, just relax.
Because we overthink everything.
Yeah, overthink, and who's getting married, and who's having a child, and who's getting promoted. I'm exhausted, thinking about that. So that's
You
why.
also tweeted about it. I think some women don't want to be like a
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, because it's true, right? Because what happens is, I mean, ever since I started the media, and it's funny, I mean, it's not that I made a rule that I'm not going to talk about my personal life, but all the time, do you have a boyfriend? Where's your child? And I'm like, well, I mean, just calm down, and what I was noticing is this happens to all women, right? Is other people decide that when are you going to have a child? When are you going to marry? And I'm like, this is crazy, because as someone who stands for women's, not even self-expression, but identity, that she is enough on her own. I don't like these questions, even to some other woman, so that's why I take that. And they're like, oh, you don't want kids. I said, no, not everything is about me. But there are women who don't want children, who don't want to get married, who are women. They consider themselves female, but they don't want a husband. They don't want, and I think they are valid.
I think we can take an example of Mother Teresa.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. And she, like, we're all valid in just different capacities. I'm very passionate about that, because also I'm noticing, Revathi, and I don't know if you noticed this, coming from, again, math background, statistically, women do not talk to men on Twitter in general and in social media. So when women are communicating, it's usually to other women. I'm not saying always, I'm saying the trend.
Yes,
right?
exactly. Because I can feel that.
You feel that, and
Yeah.
it'll be like empowering you this year. My quest from day one was I want to talk to men because I don't think that we can empower women just with 50% of the population, right? So I have to have men on my side, so that's why a lot of the things I say is from a woman's perspective. But if you notice, most of my followers are men. So it's interesting for them to hear it from me because most women don't say it out loud.
Yes.
That's what most of my feedback that I'm getting from men is that thank you for saying this. I never knew. Or even my wife doesn't tell me. Because again, women, I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just saying as a gender, we are conditioned that be quiet. You don't have to say everything. Right? So every girl who follows me is feeling everything that I'm saying. She's just not saying all of it. I mean, so I'm taking it as my responsibility that, okay, if she's not going to say it, I know what she's thinking because I'm a girl too. And so I'm going to say it. So I think that's been my latest strategy, which is that people are like, oh, you don't want kids? You don't. I said, no, this is not about me because I know that there are some girls who I know who are, don't want kids, don't want this, but she's never going to say that. So that's why I am saying it, not for her, but to represent her as well. Because I'm not trying to like speak for other people. I can't, but if I can say something that she'll say that, oh, I was thinking that, then that's great.
And like, what is happening on your latest tweet? You like you asked about like blocking people on social media.
Yes, yes. Well, because I've been blocked a lot. I've been blocked a lot myself, and of course, I block a lot of people. So I'm honestly curious that if you block someone on social media, does that mean you block them in real life? And by the way, Revathi, my tweets, as you can probably tell, they're all like actually honest. Like, everything is real. Like I 100% thought that 30 minutes ago. I was thinking that is it real? And I think I'm gonna ask you. So I'm using this as a crowd sourcing tool of data and just behaviors. But no, like I've been blocked and I've blocked others. So I'm honestly asking that if you block someone on social media or if they block you, does that mean that they don't want to talk to you in real life? That's basically what I'm saying.
Yeah. What is your take?
I think the answer is they don't want to talk to you in real life. Yeah.
Okay. But I think not in all cases, right?
It depends.
Yeah, it depends.
Maybe you'll be very good friends in real life. I don't know. Yeah.
Yes.
You forget about the blocking. I don't know. So far, I don't know. I think I saw it means that they don't want to talk to you in real life. That's what I saw. I have to check again. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, let's talk about the secrets of go-getters, the 5 secrets.
Yes. So the first, okay, and so this is how it started was as a female. So it was called 5 Secrets of a Go-Getter Girl. So it's very female specific, female centric. So the female angle is number 1, she believes that she will write one of the greatest stories ever written. Which again is confidence, and it's interesting because I wrote this article, at least drafted it when I was in a hotel room at Deloitte. So I was on a project or at a orientation, you have this orientation. And I think I was already getting frustrated by just feeling, very bound that this is your employer, I'm your boss. And I wrote about this on LinkedIn today. It's all men. I mean, you experienced this too. My team was all guys. The only, woman I saw, she's pregnant and on maternity leave. So it was just getting like, I'm just like, where are the women? I mean, why is it so hard to see a normal woman here, who's not pregnant, who's at work? And so I think I was just getting frustrated. And I said, you know what? One day I'm going to break out of all of this, and it wasn't even just Deloitte. It was this figurative breaking out because, this Indian culture, I love it, but it's very, at times, oppressive to women. You can't do this, don't do that. Family ke baare mein socho. Family. I mean, most guys I know, they don't care. about the family and all. They're like, oh, I'm fine. I think for me, it's like, I have to think about my parents' retirement, and it's a lot of pressure. I mean, you probably feel this as well.
Yes.
So I was like, I want to break out. I want to do my own thing. I want to make a lot of money. I just want to be really, not even rich, but influential. And so I was having all these thoughts, and I said, I think this is my outlet. So that's why when I wrote, I said, she will write one of the greatest stories ever written. It was inspired by me. I'll be honest. So all of the secrets are very much about me, but then I made it she, so that now it's relatable.
All the women.
Yeah, relatable to all women. Because I really think that there is a go-getter in every girl, in every woman. Either she has already found her or she is finding her. I don't think that she doesn't exist. So I said, yeah, she will write one of the greatest stories ever written, which was confidence. Number 2 is she puts herself first. Of value and service to those around, and that got so much backlash because all these girls said, put myself first, I never do that, always my baby comes first, my husband, my this, my that. And I responded to those tweets, saying that you can't do that. You're going to be exhausted, you're going to be sick, and you'll be just unhappy, because if you are not happy, whole, confident, beautiful from within, it's very difficult, as you know, to do that now. So for me, that was a big controversial, I would say, number 2, because everybody they got a little mad, but then they started realizing that, oh, I think this is right, like if I don't take care of myself, then how will I do anything for anyone else, And so then today the report came out, like, women are so tired at work. It's the same thing. We're always trying to do for other people, and I'm tired of it, which is why, like, if you want to call me selfish, great. I don't care. So I'm tired of it. Just leave me alone. That's why, I'm very fascinated, which is why, like, people make fun of me, but on social media, you'll see a lot of my pictures are solo. Because I'm very fascinated by this idea of not single as in marital status. What does a woman by herself look like? I don't want to see the brother, the father, the mother, the husband. I just want to know about her. And it's actually very difficult to find pictures and things of women just by themselves. Which is why I've made it a point that when you look at my Instagram grid, all you'll see is me. And I mean it, because I just want to show that I'm enough. That I don't need a man all the time next to me. I don't need the kids next to me to be happy. I'm enough by myself. And I think that's a very powerful thing. So that's why she puts herself first. So that was number 2. Number 3 was she, I think, was it like keeps to inspire the world. Again, that is progress. And I think that's been a very consistent theme of my life, that even though maybe it wasn't, every day I'm sort of changing the world, but at least every day I have been moving forward. I can very confidently say that. And even in the business now.
Because you're working towards your mission.
Correct. So that's why I said, every day she's doing something to go in that direction, whether that's the part-time job or stay-at-home mom or whatever, she's not just sitting there, so I think that was the point of number 3. Number 4 was, she keeps her friends and family close. This was very idealistic, I think realistically, I know a lot of women, they are not on positive terms with the family. They don't like the family. So I know that, and I said that. I said, look, she keeps them close. And if the family is not the best, then she creates her own family, and she adopts friends as her family, because that's what you can do as with friends, right? You can create who gets to be a part of your family, because a lot of people, they said, oh, but my dad, my this, and then you can create your own family. So, wow, really? Yeah. So, number 4. And then number 5, she's very proud of how far she's come, because I also feel, Revathi, that most women always, that this didn't happen, we are so far, we're useless, we're worthless. And I said, no, but I've come from there, right? You've come from India. I mean, we haven't done nothing. So I think we have to be grateful for how far we've come, and proud. And notice I did use the word proud, because
Yes.
I'm an aggressive person, and I love myself fiercely, and I'm so proud of everything that I've done. So for me, grateful seems very passive. Like, oh, I'm so grateful for everything. I said, no, I'm actually really proud. And I
Like,
think,
I want to share one experience that happened like 1 week before.
yeah.
So, like, I spoke with one of my brother's friend. We are having one conversation. So the thing is, I want to go back to India sometime, like maybe next year or something like that. So because I want to change the mindset of the people over
Sure,
there.
sure, sure.
So like
Good idea. Good market. Good enough market.
so, like I was talking to him, and he asked me one question: what you achieved after coming to US?
Yes.
So he like I told him,
Mhm.
like I achieved so many things.
Mhm.
You may not think like I achieved like I cleared all my student loans. Like I took care of my family. I took care of finances. I took care of myself because
Right.
during job search period, I struggled a lot with the depression, like not a deep depression, but kind of like I experienced those elements.
Mhm.
So I know the struggle. And also even when I'm like studying engineering in India,
Right.
I used to get very good marks, almost like 85% to 90%. But I don't have that self confidence or self esteem to
Mhm.
speak on stage.
Right.
So I told him, this is what I achieved. And like my fear, I have so many insecurities and fears in me.
Mhm.
So to overcome that, I started interacting with the people. I started like, so this is what I achieved till date.
That's right.
And yeah, and he is like, no, you are not mature enough. I thought you are mature enough. But like I told him one thing: my achievements may be not like a big to you, but they are like, I'm like very proud of myself.
Yes.
I know how I struggle in
Yes.
my mind.
Correct.
Yeah.
No,
Like,
and Revathi, nobody knows you like you know yourself.
yes, exactly. That's what I believe. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And anytime anyone tries to tell you about yourself, you should laugh and say, "You're trying to tell me about me." Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, from a logical perspective, no one can know more about you than you know about yourself.
Yes.
Regardless of if it's your brother, your mother, your wife, your husband, it's not possible that somebody is going to know more about you than you know about yourself. And because I'm also experiencing this, oh, you've changed. I said, you're going to tell me I've changed? I mean, I every day I know who I am. I know who I was. I know. So I always have that answer. You don't get to answer that for me. So in these situations, don't fight, because I'm not a believer of fighting, but just tell your brother and say, okay, and I respect your opinion. But I think it's my decision to say if I'm mature or that I've matured. And I know from personal experience, a lot of Indian families will not consider this to be an achievement, right? So they'll say that probably clearing your student loans is a bigger achievement than you finding the confidence to speak on stage. But you and I both know that the second one requires more mental power than making
Yes.
enough money to pay off a bill.
Yes.
Right. So I think, and that's where I have a big problem with priorities in the Indian community. Also, as our community forces kids to be a lawyer, doctor, teacher, engineer, when maybe the kid doesn't want to do that.
Yes.
And then now, and this, they are going into Revathi full-blown depression because they are trying to be nice to their parents. They achieve that, and they're very smart, so they are becoming a doctor. They are not failing in the process of becoming a doctor. They are becoming a lawyer, and then they become a lawyer, and they say, "Oh my God, I hate my life."
Yes.
Right? That's it. And I know many people like that personally, who've revealed to me that they are depressed because of that.
Yes, I told him like one thing, like Success means maybe to you, success means money or materialistic things, but that is not in my case. Like that's what I told him, and like he told me that like, okay, I think you look like a child.
How old is he? He's older than you?
Yeah, he's like older than me.
And you have to be prepared for that, Revathi, that your whole life it's like, oh, you're a child, you're a baby. But you know what? You and I both know what you and I are capable of. And I don't think we should listen to others, because at this age, especially 27, I mean, we're not like kids, we're adults, so we
Like
will listen to
yeah, at that moment I told myself in my mind like, okay, I won't tell what I can do or I want to do.
not worth it. Not worth it.
I will show the work after I will show the results. Yeah.
100%. And everything, the thing is, in our community, I'm not trying to be rude because I have a lot of respect for the Indian community. I have a lot of respect for my parents, for your parents, for all of our parents, for your brother. But the fact is, I don't, at least in my family, there's not a whole lot of like straight up like entrepreneurs or innovators.
Yes.
So, I mean,
and the thing is, he is an entrepreneur. So that's what I'm like.
Well, but I mean, it's biased, Revathi. Everyone, like in the Indian community, most people are biased against women. They are. I mean, even though they don't say it, in their thing, they'll be like, oh, just marry a rich guy. He'll support you when you're building your business. All this stupid stuff, right? So I think somewhere you just have to say that, okay, I know what I'm doing. I know that I cleared my student loans. Buy yourself a journal in it. Buy yourself a gift.
Yes, because journaling, it is my biggest, like I do every single day. That helps so much. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the biggest mistake we can do is always depend on other people for validation, especially our friends and family, So that's when now I'm at a point that before I said, dad has to help me. Now I say, literally, I talk like this. This is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do it. I don't ask for permission anymore. Because I think before I did, oh, do you like this? Mama, do you like this? But they said, no, I don't. They literally, even now they say, I don't understand any of this. Like, I don't understand the media. I don't understand how it makes money. And I said, you know what? You don't have to know. This is my job. This is not your job. Right? I mean, right? I mean, I don't know what a lot of people, their job is, but why do I have to know? It's their job. It's not my job. Mm-hmm. So that how does a lawyer make money? Who cares? I'm not a lawyer, So I think that's my new perspective is not everyone has to know that what do you want to do? How will Revathi's Be Awesome Rock Stars, Becoming Rock Stars channel expand? No one, why does it matter? Right? I mean, just you focus on your work, do your work, do it well, get help from other people. I can help you, if you have questions about how to grow your channel. Don't ask them. Right? I mean, that's my latest, philosophy.
Because like I share my vulnerabilities or insecurities on Instagram. Like I share my emotions. Right. Like people are connecting to that and they are like sending me messages, okay. Like, like this is the same problem I'm facing.
Correct. Yeah. Good. And I think, Revathi, you're doing an awesome job by thinking about going back to India because for you, that's who you are, right? Mm-hmm. Like for you to say that I'm American, people will say, but you're not, right? Because you came here at 23 like that. So I think for you to go back to India and then connect with American, Irish, Malaysian audiences as an Indian, I think that's very powerful.
Yes, that's what my...
digital is going to give you the whole world. I'm not saying that American people are not going to follow you. I'm just saying from a branding perspective, because by the way, I couldn't have done I'm an Indian because they'll say that you left at 5, right? So mine was the opposite because I tried that. I said, should I position myself that I'm an Indian in America? Because that is different. And then I said, but Indian people are not going to believe that because Indian people will say that you left at 5. You don't know anything about what it's like to live in India. You don't know our struggles. You don't know our day-to-day life. And the fact is I don't. Mm-hmm. I don't live in India. I haven't for the last 22 years, right? So that's when I said I have to position myself as an American, so that's how. So yeah, I think for you, that's a great strategy because, and also Indian, there's so many people, I mean, just online, and hungry for intelligent content. The number one feedback I see on all the YouTube videos, Bollywood, everything is we want real content, not stupid stuff. And I think that that's what you're doing. So I'm really excited for you.
And you are starting, like you are building your own brand, and you are building your own startup, like building your media company. Like, what are the struggles you are facing right at this moment, and like what are the tips you can give to the startup, who are building their own businesses?
Sure. And I think, if you go down this path, but basically mine is a media startup, which is interesting because in many ways, every company is a media company, right? Because anytime you are dealing with a public, you are a media company, right? But the difference is, in my case, the content is the product. And I think a lot of people get very confused by that, because the number one question I get, Revathi, is, wait, so what does your company do? And I said, what does Time Magazine do? What does New York Times do? I mean, what is their product? The product is not even a newspaper. The product is the shit that goes in the newspaper. That's the product, right? So the words, the stories, the articles, So for me, the content is the product, and I think a lot of people are still having trouble figuring that out. Because absolutely, will we do merchandise? Absolutely. Will we do bracelets? Absolutely. Go getter this, go getter that. But the product. I'm not a merchandise company, so I think I've had to be very apparel. I'm not a sweatshirt company. I'm not a shoe company. Having said that, will I do shoes? Probably. I don't know. Will I do merchandise? Absolutely. Will I do sweatshirts? Absolutely. But I think branding wise, I've had to be very careful that what do I brand myself? Because the minute you become a jewelry company, then they'll say, where's the next bracelet? Where's the necklace? Where's the nose ring? And I'm like, that's not my scene. So I've had to be very careful, and as a result, very calculated with just how I've done everything, because I have to also be accountable to these questions. So it is a media company. The biggest challenge right now, honestly, is building my own platform, because when I first started on social media, probably in your case also, yes, there was a little bit of traction. Yes, that traction grew. In the beginning, I was really struggling. I said, I have 0 followers on Twitter. How do I get to 10? How do I get to 20? And so that grew. But what I was noticing is, even at 50,000, 100,000, they weren't sticky. And that is a problem, because when you're talking about a media company where your product is content, if the people are not stuck to you like glue, there's a problem. So for me, I had to really take a step back and figure out how to make my model sticky, right? Because, and not even sticky, like obsessed. So the same way that you open up the music video is the same way that I want you to be waiting for my tweet, right? And that's a very difficult thing, right? Because I'm not here singing. I'm not here dancing yet, right? I am a dancer. I will learn how to sing. But again, it was very important for me to lay the foundation and say my foundation is not an actress. I will act. I do act. But the foundation is not an actress. The foundation is entrepreneur. So how do you make something unsexy actually sexy? Like, that's something that I've really tried to work on. So I think just building out the platform stickiness. And frankly, it was a challenge, because I was on LinkedIn, I was on Twitter, I was on Facebook. I had 6 platforms. And in the beginning, everything was kind of like, baby, and then it started growing. And then I was going crazy managing all 6, because this baby is at this level, this baby is at medium, this baby is very high. So then I said, literally, I had a epiphany one day, and I said that this is not, again, engineering, because again, another common feedback I get is, oh, so you're not using your degree. And I said, no, but every thought process is grounded in engineering, right? It's optimization, it's efficiency, it's product development, right? So for me, I had this literally the other day epiphany. Now it's been a while. I said, this is not efficient. I don't have time to work on 6 platforms. This LinkedIn is an ocean. Like, Twitter is an ocean. So I'm trying to swim in 6 oceans a day. What was happening is I was getting extremely exhausted, right? I was getting extremely tired. And frankly, just fed up. And just some of the things that you were saying, tired, fed up, depressed, I probably wouldn't go that far, but I was just miserable. I was miserable. And this is, you could say last year, and you could say the beginning part of this year, very recently, just miserable, because I'm like, this is not, because my thing is I'm a very results person, right? So I'm like, this is not working. Like just results wise, the numbers are not growing. They're not there. Like engagement is not growing. What is going on? And so then I had an epiphany. I said, look at my 6 platforms, because this is a very tried and tested strategy for other companies as well. What they do is they just focus on their highest product, right? So if they have 6 products, they'll just focus on the highest selling product. Right? So they'll say that, the rest of them, it's not worth it. The time spent selling these products is not worth the ROI, right? So for me, I did that with my 6, and I saw not even a comparison. Twitter was already my biggest platform among all 6. Like just I didn't even have to pen and paper analyze. Like it was just like visually, like this is at some 2 million impressions, views among, this is at 100,000. Like that was the difference. So I said that it's very clear to me where I should be. I need to be on Twitter. And then I had this epiphany that everybody on Twitter usually has an Instagram, definitely has a LinkedIn, right? Most likely has a Snapchat, most likely has a Facebook, definitely has a YouTube, because YouTube is so popular. So what I started doing, I would say end of last year, so it's been not even a year that I've done this strategy, is what I'm doing is I'm going to Twitter. I'm actually following very target people, right? Because before, I think I was also following the wrong people, because what was happening is I was following them, they weren't following back, right? Which means it was the wrong audience, right? And building up my base that way, because again, I don't have a podcast right now, I don't have a TV show right now, I don't have a radio show. So how will people find me? Right, because what's happening is they're like, YouTuber, video, 10 million views, and that's how they're finding them. So and I will have all those things, but right now I don't have those things, right? So I have to build my seed audience in a very strategic way, right? Because frankly, and it's not even that I don't have the money or time to start a podcast. We're not, like mentally, that's not what I want to do right now. You know what I mean? Like my focus is the first level cannot be a podcast. I mean, the first level is, nurturing, and we build up to a podcast. The first thing I do cannot be a podcast, so because we're not ready. And then I'm going to have these very bad numbers, and then I'm going to feel bad that I start a podcast, only 2 people are listening to it, because it takes time, as you know, to produce, to record, to do all this. I'm going to do all this work for 2 people? Like, no. So that's why I used a very different strategy, which is in some ways a controversial strategy, because not a lot of people do it. Not a lot of people have success with it, which is a follow back. So I'm following these target people, and then, after some time, going ahead and unfollowing them. And it's not churn, so I'm not like, it's not that, okay, in a day I'm following on. It's not like, so it looks sketchy. It's a genuine, that, hey, I want to follow you. Okay, you're not interested? Like a dating, right? So I like you, great. Like, he said, no, I'm not. I said, okay, great. Then I don't want to talk to you either. So, I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, you're, and I'm like, no, it's not. It's nothing. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. So I think that's, one way to go about it. Of course, everybody has a different way that they do it. Because my thing is, until I have those people, like I can't just sit here and wait for when I have a platform, for when I have a TV show, because God knows when that'll be, right? So the time is now. So anyway, so I started doubling down on Twitter, tripling down, quadrupling down, and then very immediately I saw the results, going from 1 million to 2 million a month. So views, not followers, views. I'm on 2 million to 3 million, so now we're almost at 4 to 5. So we're in that 4 to 5 range. So we've like doubled, tripled it. Followers are growing as a result. And so then I started saying, okay, I want these people to follow me on all these other platforms, but my followers are not the most engaged. Who are the most engaged? The people who are liking, retweeting, and commenting. They are the most engaged. They are the most
I can
engaged.
say.
So what I'm now thinking,
I started following you on Twitter. Like
what?
Before, can you hear me?
You're breaking. Yes.
I think you are froze. I think now. Yeah. First, I started following you on Twitter. Later, before this interview, I think couple of days back, I searched your name on YouTube. I got your channel.
Yes,
So
yes,
I subscribed and I watched all of your content. I watched your, like, you gave interviews to many channels.
yes,
So
yes.
I watched all that content. Like
Oh, thank
before this interview, I like searched on Instagram with your name.
you.
I found it and I like followed.
Yeah. No, thank you. Thank you. No, that means a lot. So for me, that's such a big deal now. And it's so exciting because now finally people are beginning to recognize me. So they're like, oh, we actually like this. Because I think before, because I was getting a lot of like, oh, you should be bigger. Oh, you should have more followers. And what I wanted to tell them was it was a real struggle for me. There was a time when like I wasn't growing on YouTube.
Mhm.
Because you can't force people to subscribe, right? I
Yes.
think that's something that I knew always, but it was really made clear to me in that struggle period that I cannot force this. So either the content just has to be amazing, or really that's it. I don't have any other option, right? Because I'm not a reality TV star. I'm like, what are my options, right? Because at this point, Revathi, without a TV show, without a podcast, without a radio show, this is my only option, that my content is so good that you are going to subscribe without even knowing who I am, right?
Mhm.
And that is what I tried to focus on. So on Twitter, I did some analysis and I said, there's not a whole lot of women voices. There's not a whole lot of women of color voices. So like us as a non-white, there's not a whole lot of positive women's voices, right? So like there's not like, it's either the female politicians or some gun violence, something like, it's like just happy. Where's the just happy message? It's very simple, and that was missing. So that was the whole. And then of course, the looks thing. So a lot of the, politician is a very like, tough face. And I said, what if I made an avatar of like very beautiful, very not like sexy, but just someone who looks a little bit more appealing than just, like that. And I changed that. So all of those things started working. So they're like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. Oh my God, you're so happy. You're so energetic. You're so positive. We love this. We love this. And then it's just really grown from there. So now I'm basically funneling everyone, and every day I do this, funneling people from Twitter to LinkedIn, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever. And now the growth is like finally not where it needs to be, getting to where it needs to be.
And also like I also connected on LinkedIn.
Yes, thank you. Because that's my business channel. That's my
Yes.
business channel, and even there's not a whole lot of women who like post content. So yeah. So now, like, finally, things are. I wouldn't say that everything is where it needs to be, but finally, I'm at least feeling growth. Because I think there was such a period of like, this is not growing. And and you're saying you were insecure. I was insecure that I said, look, I'm not a TV star. I'm not on CNN every day. Where the hell are these people going to come from? Like, honestly, that was my question to myself. Nobody else, because the one thing about this whole journey is it's been very solitary. So like, even my manager, he's like, yeah, like I work for you. So there's no one that I can just say, excuse me, hello. Like, no one has any answers for me. Like, everybody just has questions. So
Yes.
when I ask somebody, how do you get more followers? Oh, you just tag people. That strategy and everything is not working for me. I don't know if you saw on Instagram, whenever I say tag a go-getter, I get no one. Because, and I'll tell you why, they are not there. So the tagging, giveaway, you have to be at not even our, I don't want to say a level, but your platform has to be strong and big and sticky enough to where those work. Right, that tag a person, giveaway bracelet, and I'll get there. And when I'm there, I'll be bigger than these other people doing it. So I'm not worried. But the fact is, the strategies that they advise me with, none of them worked. Right, tag a this, whatever, host a giveaway, zero. It didn't work because the platform wasn't there. You're trying to tell a baby who was born yesterday, hey, go walk. He can't walk. It's not possible. So just things like that I wish I had known. But having said that, I'm happy I tried everything. I tried the giveaway. I think one or two it worked, but nothing to the level that I want. And so then I said, you know what, I'm just gonna do this my way. And now it's working a lot better. I'm doing a lot of DMs on Twitter, personalized videos. Oh my God, you're real. Oh my God. So they are really loving it. I mean, and the same people are following me on Instagram like you, and now they're like, oh my God, we like her, right? Because the people originally on Instagram, sometimes I feel like they have no idea what I'm doing. You know, 'cause they don't see the full context. You know, so anyway, so the biggest challenge, and answer your question, very long answer, but that's the life now, is building a strong, large, and sticky platform from which to sell. So right now the products are digital ebook, right? Memoir 26. I finally like built up my sales goals. In the beginning, they were too aggressive. It was just unachievable this year, but now I've tuned it up to where it's achievable, but now I have to, you know, just constantly go. And even that was a struggle, that you're trying to sell something from such a small platform, such a new platform, but I don't have time, you know, like again, TV show is great, but I mean, when will that happen? I don't know. So right now, like this is my game, you know, so I think that was really hard. So right now we're going up on 300 orders of the book. So it's not bad. I mean, I think it could be a lot more. It definitely can be a lot more, especially now because they know me, they like me. So now I'm sure it'll grow faster. But 300 in 1 year. But it's the first 300 that are the hardest.
Yes.
To sell, especially when you're so new.
Yeah. And do you have team or you do by yourself?
Do I have a team? I do have a team. I have a freelance team. So I use Upwork.
Okay.
It's quite big. It's like total 20 at any time. So the graphic designer, da 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 da. So I have like a pool of like 20. I'm not saying 20 work with me all the time or every week. But they are there. They're awesome. I mean, they're really awesome. And I'm just really, you know, grateful and happy. And the work is fantastic. And they're really awesome. So I'm very happy.
Like, why you choose like a media as your startup? Why not other?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, you know, I think basically, you know, my problem is with the content that's online, that's on TV, that's, you know, and I have many problems with it. But the main problem is it's not empowering, it's not uplifting, and it doesn't feature women front and center. You know, and it's not brain focused. Everything is a body, sexy, sex, you know, and I'm like, there's more to women than that. There's more to everyone than that. You know, so I've almost taken upon myself that Das Media Group will fix that. You know, so in the future, when you see our, you know, documentaries, our, you know, products and shows and all that on Showtime, on Hulu, on CBS, ABC, you know, you'll say, wow, you know, they're featuring go-getters. You know, they're empowering go-getters and solution-based content, right? So not just, actually, you're going through depression. Here are some ways a go-getter fights depression, right? Here, because what was happening is I was reading these articles, whatever, how do you get over somebody who doesn't like you? And I'm like, there is no solution here. It's literally the article says, that sucks, go eat ice cream. And I'm like, that's not even a solution. You know, so here's a person very vulnerable, right? They're reading this article because some guy that they like doesn't like them back, right? And you're telling her to go eat ice cream? Like, that doesn't even make sense, like just logically, you know? So that irritates me, because I think part of my mission and calling, Revathi, is I'm very like truth-based, and like everything has to be right, and I'm, you know, messenger of God. And so my thing is, if I can say the right things to this girl, that she will, you know, not be sad and depressed after this guy doesn't like her, then that's a positive thing. You know, that's a positive thing. And how do I do that at scale? Platform. That I mean, is very simple in many ways.
So I like you are telling through your content you will give actionable steps to overcome it, right?
Yes. Because when I think of a go-getter, I think of action. You know, I don't think of that this person is just sitting there waiting for things to happen. You know, this person wants to know that, okay, if I have been cheated on, what do I do? You know, because people, if you look online, they're fighting with each other. They're yelling at each other. They're killing each other with guns. So my perspective is not that. My perspective is you take the high road, if they've cheated on you, you have a discussion and you walk out, or you stay, or I mean, just I'm a rational person. I'm a rational person. So I think that is unusual in the media in terms of the content that you see, because a lot of the feedback I get is also your content is so logical. Right? Because I mean, if you see the shit that people put out, you're like, this doesn't make sense. There's no head, there's no tail. I mean, there's just, right. So I think if I can add some semblance of order and sense and thing because of my background, right, engineering, thing and everything combined, then I think that'll be a very positive thing. So that you have this now manual that, okay, this is how I get over depression like a go-getter. This is how I get over being cheated like a go-getter. And now this becomes your manifesto. This becomes your anthem. This becomes your mantra. This becomes your rallying cry. And that's a very positive thing. So that's why I'm doing it.
And also, you started you are a motivational speaker. You are a keynote speaker.
Yeah, that was a struggle to get it. Yeah.
Why? What are the struggles? Because I also one day I want to be that person. So
you have to be on the TED stage. If I were you, I would start with like TEDx.
Yes, I'm planning that.
Yeah, you should do that. Basically, the struggle was breaking through in the American market. Because for me, again, unlike some other people that you may have heard of, they went viral. They had an exploding YouTube channel. I had nothing, zero, never gone viral, still haven't gone viral. So for me, I was like, how do you break through? Because I also wanted to charge money, and not even money, a lot of money. So I said that, because I'm not interested in the $500 speech, $300 speech. In my head, I said, you keep that. I don't want that. So if I want the $3,000, $4,000, how do you even? Because I mean, I'm smart enough to know I can't just walk up and say I deserve $4,000, right? They'll say I deserve $1 million, and I'll say, yeah, that's right. So how do you create enough substance to justify someone paying you $4,000 for a speech? I did not have the answer to that just 2 years ago, because I became professional at last end of 24. So November 2016. And I turned 25 in January. So just the 2 months of 24, I became professional. How they say, like, I turned pro. I turned pro at 24. I think you can say that.
What you did to become pro?
Yeah, so get experience. People say that they don't have experience. People say that they have not done this, but I say that you can get experience, for free maybe, but no one knows that it's free, right, other than you, right? So what I did was I started speaking at literally like 2 events in 2014 after graduating from college. And I got them recorded, I got them videotaped, I put them up on YouTube. And then 2014, and then started just doing that, started doing some more of these, 2 or 3 in total, like 4, because I'm also not someone who believes in pay your dues for 10 years before, because if you are good, Revathi, it doesn't take 10 years. So my thing is, I'm not going to put in so much free labor because I'm desperate, So for me, I did have 3 or 4, but I'm also not stupid. I can't go up and say, pay me 4,000 now. I have nothing, So I did like 3 or 4, I would say. And then I just put it on YouTube. And then I started searching. I did research, and literally the question was, how do you become a paid, right, non-free speaker, right? And this is a question probably you have also, that how do I start charging? And not even, look, I mean, today you can start charging me, but I have to feel confident and comfortable that you're worth $4,000 and $5,000. So how do you, I think the better question is, how do you create a business case, right, to justify being paid $4,000, right, for a speech, for a 40-minute speech, not a 2-hour, 40-minute speech. So I did some research, and the number one thing was joining an agency, right, speaking agency. So I said, great, but then I also knew that in America, especially speaking agencies, it's like either you're a celebrity or you've already made it. Like to even get into an agency is a big deal. Like you cannot be I started yesterday and now today I'm in an agency. Like it's not overnight at all. So I was a little scared that they're giving this advice, but how long is it going to take for me to even be ready for an agency? That was my question. So I did some research, found a lot of agencies, and at the time I was 2016, 24. Yeah, I was 20. Yeah, I was 24. So I applied at 24. I got in at 24, and then I started at the last end of 24. So applied in like February 2016 when I just turned 24. Got in April 2016, mid 24. Started November 2016, end of 24. And so I did some research, and finally what was appearing to me is there are a couple of different markets, corporate, right? And then again, I'm like, I'm 24. I did not have a company at this point. What would I talk about to these executives? Like it would be a joke. They'll say that my child is 24, right? Right? That's, so I said that I'm not comfortable doing that. I'm not comfortable speaking to business audiences at 24 because I don't know what I would say. And I don't want to look like stupid, So the next market that I looked at, and this is all just research, digital, internet, you have access to it. It's nothing as special, was a college. So, and then I did my analysis. I said, college market, this makes sense because I'm a graduate of college, good college, right? Very good college, right? Engineering. Speaker, and I'm like, because I'm trying to think that in their perspective, some 18-year-old comes to my speech, if they see that I'm 24, they will be inspired. They will be motivated. So I said that this is a good thing. So then I started researching, okay, are there college speaking agencies? What do you do? And then I found there's one agency, there are very few that are actually reputable because a lot of these are also scams. They're not real, So I did my research, found this one agency that was real, legitimate, very selective, very, very selective. 50 speakers a year, 50 speakers total, and then they only accept like 5 a year. Or it was just very, very selective, or 10 a year, or something like that. And I said, okay, so I called them, I applied, and this game. They don't have an Indian speaker. I was one of the only ones. I think they said the second Asian or South Asian to ever join in the history. This is something crazy. And I called them and I said, hey, I want to join. And the first thing they said is, you're very different for our type. And so there was just a lot of like, oh my God, here we go. But finally I got in, and that was my breakthrough. To this day, I'm very grateful to them because otherwise for me to charge, and my rate was $2,500. And this now it's, America, $2,500 for 40 minutes. At 24, which was a big deal. coming from zero, coming from zero. And as you know, it's very difficult to make that jump by yourself. Unless you go viral on YouTube, which I hadn't. Unless we even produce that level of content on social media, which I hadn't. So I think that was the breakthrough moment. So I broke through with an agency.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that's how it happened. And then I left the agency since then, and now my platform is doing the breaking through. Now I don't need them anymore because it was just a lot of restriction. They're like, you can't say this, you can't do that. It's an agency, right? So
okay.
Very tight rules, and I'm the type of person, I don't like being told, exactly what to do and when to say what. And I'm just, I don't have time for this, So it's very, very nitpicky. And also it was 2,500 with traveling with, so I was pocketing half, traveling to all these places. I'm coming home with $1,000, and I'm like, what? This doesn't make sense. Just from a business standpoint, I can't be pocketing half, where I have to spend on the flight, on the this, on the that. And then I asked them, I said, is it possible to raise the price? And they're like, no. And I said, okay, I don't think this is. It's and also it's very repetitive, right? It's the same college, the same speech to so many different colleges, and you're pocketing half. So my thing is, it's so much work for this much money. And since then I've transitioned over to a lot of online keynotes, and that's a building business stream for me as well. I'm building. It's not built, but it's building. And then, now, as you know, as the platform grows, more inquiries, more offers, as usual. So I'm trying to bank on that. But yeah, I think that was the breakthrough. I think it was really difficult to even have anything to talk about at 24, because, as you know, that's really young. You don't have business experience, so I'm really proud about how I handled that transition from child to adult.
Yes.
Yeah.
You shared all your years.
Yeah, yeah, because you're so young, right? And everybody thinks that you're stupid. So I mean, there was just a lot of, you know, yeah, it was a struggle. It was a struggle, and that's when the Forbes article came out, and then that's when everything started heading in the right direction. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
And like, what is the impact you want to create?
I really think, if people just say she inspires me to be a go-getter, like that would be great. That's all I'm looking for, and thankfully that is what people are saying. That's exactly what they're saying. They're saying you're inspiring me to be
That's why I asked you for interview.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm really happy. So now my goal is just scale Revathi. Like everything that's happening right now is perfect. The reactions are perfect. I really have no negative reactions to the content, other than just random haters, but they hate everything. So I don't really consider their feedback. But otherwise, truly, I mean, knock on wood, the feedback has been very, very positive. So I just want to keep doing this. I want to keep growing it. I want to just keep scaling the audience. I want to keep scaling, the subjects that I touch and that I write about, again, with that go-getter, point of view. And then, of course, we are going to be venturing into film, television, radio, all these different properties. And some of them won't be me, right? So you may see a documentary about go-getter girls in India, and I'm not in it, but it is going to be produced by the Das Media Group, and then my team handles that production, because I definitely want pieces that you don't see me in, but that are a manifestation of the company, because I really think that's really powerful, because then a human being cannot be everywhere.
Yeah, because you want to share that real content through your company.
Yes. And again, you will see, with everything that we produce, it's going to be uplifting, it's going to be powerful, it's going to be, meaningful. It's going to have really a change in your life. I can say that, which is not something I can say for most of the things that I watch, at least, because I think that the challenge that I have is half the things I watch, I say, how does this relate to my life? Right? How does this relate to my day-to-day struggles? Right? Watching a documentary about Shah Rukh Khan, how Shah Rukh Khan made it, you'll say, great, I'm not an actor. I don't want to become an actor. Right? So I think that's where I can bridge the gap really well, because not just me, my whole team actually is really good at formatting content to where it's relatable to everyone. To where you can see and say, great, I should do that. Great, that's a great tip for me. Because I think that would be the biggest thing, that you watch my stuff and you will say, wow, I'm going to do that now. I'm gonna wake up every morning and have a few minutes of silence. Like if I can just incorporate action into your life as a result of both me and the movement and the company, and I'm like, that would be brilliant. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because one thing is to be inspired. One thing is to say that, I actually applied to college because of you. Like those are two different things. Inspiration, I'm very happy with, but I want action.
Yes.
I want action from all of you, which is why you'll see in my Instagram, I changed it to business and motivation, not inspiration and motivation. Because it's empty, right? Business is you're building something tangible, right? And then motivation is a motivation. So I think what I want to hear from you guys is, because of you, I started a company because I'm a go-getter. Because of you, I applied to engineering in college and not English, because I know I can do engineering because I'm a go-getter. Like that to me would be like, wow.
Yes, inspiration is different, but when you take action, you'll get to experience that.
Right.
You can feel that.
And that is change, Revathi, right? Change is not how many people you've inspired. Change is how
Yes.
many people you've inspired to act.
Yeah, exactly.
That is what I'm trying to do, because I'm seeing a lot of motivational speakers are inspiration. I said no, but I want to do action. I want to do real action, real change, real change. So the girls, girls' education. I personally want to fund 1,000 girls all the way through college who graduate, not just who go to school, who graduate from college. So then I can say that these girls, because of my money, actually finished college. Like that is going to be so powerful. Not just oh, they wanted to go to school. you know So I think that's what is very exciting to me. Yeah, because I think people can change things. I think we are the
Yes.
ones who have. So
That is your first secret for the go-getter girls.
that's right. That's right. And you know what I'm really excited about is this movement. There are people, and I start crying when I see it, because I also see other people's, the content and everything. I have black girls, I have, hijab girls, I have girls like you who've never been represented. You're not an actress, you're not where do you belong? In the media. So I think I'm really excited about that. And they're like, "Oh, I'm a go-getter, I'm a go-getter." I'm like, wow, this is amazing. This is amazing. Because if we can have a documentary, if we can have a movie about go-getters, and now you're the hero, that's cool. But what does the culture say? Oh, Tom Cruise is the hero, you don't exist. Right? So if I can see that actually Revathi is the hero, Tom Cruise is watching her, I think that would be really cool.
Right? Obviously, yes.
I mean, and there are more of you than there are of him, right? There are more of us, just normal people.
Normal people, yes.
Make it than stars. That's why I think that it should be flipped. And I want to be the leader of that gang.
Yes, leader of that flipping game.
Leader of the flipping, and also leader of the just normal person with talent, with hard work, with this, who represents all of us. So that's the plan. And a female, and there's a lot of things that are different. There's a lot of things that are different in what we're trying to do, and every day that is what keeps me going. Because I see just the comments from people I get, and I'm like, this person has probably never related to anyone before in the media. Like a lot of the book buyers, black men, Latino men, Hispanic men. Where are they? Just where do they fit in? I mean, it's hard to find, in the traditional media landscape. So that's kind of where I'm going with everything. And so I think media production, content production. So we are now gearing up towards creating my own TV channel online. So it's like OTT. So it's like over the top, like Netflix style TV channel. So we'll see when that launches, but we're building towards that. So if you ask me like, what is your next goal? That is the next big goal. And then this year, I'm really trying to scale my speaking rates, offerings, prices, and then sponsorships, and then just the book sales, like trying to really push that. And then we will get into merchandise, hopefully next year. I think that's not an unreasonable goal. So go-getter, everything, sweatshirts, hoodies, bracelets, and I think that'll be really powerful. And again, with messages, with quotes, it's not just going to be a bracelet. You have a lot of bracelets. It's going to be a bracelet that says, you got this, babe, or like my quotes. It won't be some generic it'll be something a little deeper than that, to where you see it and go, wow, maybe I should because of this. And I think that'll be really powerful. So,
Yes.
So,
Like
that's the plan, Revathi. That's the plan.
Like we spoke all the things, and thank you so much. Like where people can find you. I know they definitely can find you on Twitter.
Yes, Speaker Shinjini, that's SpeakerShinjini across all social media platforms, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, and YouTube. So please do follow me and subscribe to my channel across all 6 platforms. We're go-getters. That's all.
Yes. Like, can you give me feedback, like how I did interview or how I answered, sorry, how I asked your questions,
Yeah,
where I
of
can
course. No,
improve
it was
myself.
really good. Yes, it was really good. I think you did a tremendous amount of research. I think you really understand what we're doing, what we're building. I think you're a go-getter, so I think that's really powerful to see that you are truly a part of the movement, and you represent so much of what I want to see, which is beautiful. And I thank you for being vulnerable. I thank you for sharing your story, because it is something that a lot of us Indian girls deal with, right? Which we don't really talk about, and I think that's beautiful. No real, negative feedback. I think you're awesome. Just the length. We've gone on for almost 2 hours.
Yes, yes, that's what I'm thinking.
But no, otherwise, I mean, it's beautiful. So thank you for honoring my story, for honoring just the mission, and realizing, because when I did my research, I found out that in the female motivational speaker space, there's really no woman of color who's doing it in the way that I want. And as a result, all the Caucasian motivational speaker women, all their followers are all white. Very few people of color. So then my thought was, do little brown girls and black girls, do they not need motivation, or like what's going on? So obviously that's not true. Obviously we need to be motivated. So for me, just to see every day these messages from black girls, literally girls in Ghana, Nigeria, Uganda, saying that like, now I believe in myself because of you, like that makes me realize that that is why I started. Because
I also have that dream, like to speak.
I know you will. You will. And which is why you have to keep doing video. You have to keep doing digital, because that is your reach. Your reach is through digital media and video, and you have to. And I mean, you don't need me to tell you how many people are online. I mean, just millions and millions and probably billions, right, at any point online. So we don't have an excuse. Digital currency. I mean, that's why every day I get stressed about revenue goals. I said, how many people are online? How many people need motivation? All of them. So I shouldn't be struggling. You shouldn't be struggling. But yes, building a business around this is not easy. I think that is a struggle. But anytime I guess, oh, he didn't want to follow me, there are so many people online who will want to follow you. So I think that is where you should stay focused. So that's what for me. I'm like, oh, the numbers are not. I said, no, but there are so many people online. Right? I mean, there's 2 people said no, whatever.
Do you want to share anything?
No, I'm good. I think, the biggest part of being a go-getter is your mindset. I think you have to stay focused on, just being empowered as a human being every day, and believing in yourself and loving yourself and knowing that you're worth it. And just realize that if your mind believes these things, your body and the world will reciprocate. Like, it just has to happen. It will happen.
Awesome. And thank you. I will share this video on YouTube maybe this weekend. I will tweet you on Twitter.
Sure. I will share it. I will share 100%. And I'm just really honored to support you, and just really proud of you, because you represent me, you represent us, you represent the rising Indian woman, which is us. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have an awesome weekend.
You too. Becoming rock stars.
Yes. My tagline is, don't be a victim of your life. Be a rock star of your life.
Oh, there you go. Be a rock star of your life.
Yes.
Thank you. And enjoy Austin. It's wonderful and such a great energy. And even if you move back to India, Revathi, don't lose touch with the culture and the startup, feel of Austin. Because remember, the world is your home. It's
yes.
not India and America and Nigeria, and it's the world. So don't limit yourself.
Yes.
That only Andhra Pradesh, only Madhya Pradesh, only Calcutta, only Delhi. The world, and digital is the biggest manifestation of that. It is truly global, truly, 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 truly global. If they have internet, they will be able to access you, and that's really powerful. That's really powerful. Yeah.
One day you should come to India.
Yes. I mean, there are major plans. It's just I can't, because it's so big. I can't just. So that's why it has to be a lot of planning and all. But yes, 100%. Right now, I'll be honest. The focus, I'm head down right now because I don't know if you saw some pictures. I did go on a little tour, book tour in Atlanta and LA. It was good, but the cost was a lot. Right? If 200, 300, 1,000, 2,000, 20,000 people don't show up, you're spending more than you're making.
Yes.
That's why I decided to take a break. Just let's build up the platform. Let's get people obsessed with the movement, with this and that, and then tour. We'll see. I'm not in a rush, So maybe even after I'm 30, because now I mean, women. There's so many opportunities for us. It's not just do it before 30, do it before 20. So I don't feel rushed. I think I'm going to be here for a while. I think you're going to be here for a while. So I'm not trying to tomorrow I have to do it because it's too much. It's too much work. So I'm taking my time. But yes, it will happen, of course. Yeah.
Sure. One day I'll meet you in India.
Yes, 100%, or Austin, or who knows where it'll be. Maybe we'll be in Italy together. I don't know.
Yes.
Do that and just don't let anyone define you. Don't let your parents and brother and whatever define you. You know what you're doing, and we're all here to support you. Because I think what I'm really upset seeing is the world doesn't trust women to do what they want to do. It's always that she's doing it wrong, she's not mature, she's crying, she's this. But I just want to be with you. I want to be the leader of the movement to say, no, she knows what she's doing and she's going to do it. Because it's too much all the time, right? When she's alone doing something, always she's going to do something wrong. But what if we're right? Yes. Yes. Keep going.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you. Have a great rest of your night. Enjoy your dinner. And thank you.
I think it's dinner time for you.
Yes, it is. It is almost. Because I'm trying to keep a schedule. Otherwise, I'll eat dinner at 12 a.m. sunset. Trying to keep on a schedule.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. See you. Bye.
There's a difference. I want to do it and I want to be a rock star, right? And that's where you influence people. I want to do it, but I also want to be the most popular. And so then that person's like, oh, I want to be him. So I guess I'll be nice. I want to literally take people who have DNA that's kind of nice and make them more nice.